Okay, so on the last video of this truck, the F250, I was walking right here, swearing profusely, getting chased by mosquitoes because it was September. And I had said, oh, I'm going to return to this truck after this weekend, la-di-da. And Iowa said, no, you're not. It's going to get really cold suddenly. And it did. And we had a hellacious winter that was negative 60 degrees, wind chill, as we see every year. And tons of snow, the most I've seen in probably 10 years. And no one worked on anything. I would have died. I would have died had I tried to work on anything that winter. So, moral of the story, it is, what is it? It's June. No, it's not June, it's March. It's the end of March. It's like June in like 2 days, which means I leave for power tour in like 5 days, which explains why in the beginning of the video I'm already filthy, is because I've been thrashing to get, oh there it is, the Oldsmobile ready for power tour. With all this being said, guess what we're doing today? Yeah, it's all you guys care about, I swear to God. No matter what videos I make, what kind of cool revivals or tech stuff we do, all the comments are just, where's the F250? Well, guess what? Here's the F250. If you remember from last time, we put a clutch in it. I did some other fixes here and there. We got the gas tank working, and we drove it around and the axle fell off. You can see that up here if you haven't already. Definitely a good video to go watch. Oh, hang on. Oh no. Oh no, no, no. Oh no. There's a dead possum under the truck in the same spot the Fiat was. No! Oh God. So yeah, as you can see, this thing's sunk in the mud pretty good. It's been here since September. I literally have not touched it since the day I parked it here in that video because I got so tied up with other stuff. And like I said, winter hit. And now we're basically back at ground zero. Oh, something new took refuge. It looks like possum hair. It's long and white. And now he's dead under the truck. Rest in peace, little buddy. But this truck is once again basically abandoned. You remember we have a brand new clutch, which has done one lap around the yard and then was parked for a winter. So yep, that's definitely what you want to do when you break a clutch in. So yeah, let's get this thing up to the shop, go through the carb, go through the brakes, go through... Look at the size of this poop. Hang on. What the heck? It's huge. Oh yeah, anyway, like I was saying, yeah, let's take this to the garage. It's kind of really sunk in there in a big heavy truck, so we need some horsepower. So I brought this thing down. I don't know how to pull it out. It is pretty muddy out, so why not for low? Oh, it's like there's literally like there's nothing behind me. Oh, but bye. Come on. There you go. Follow me. There you go. Oh yeah. You don't need two people to. Oh geez. Engine's not seized. I saw it spin when I let off the clutch. So we will leave this truck here to get rained on by this massive storm that's about to hit and have nature wash it out for us. In the meantime, I'm going to tell you about today's sponsor, Audible.
It's coming right at us.
What is? There is no tornado! Tornado warning in this area till 8:30 p.m. Take shelter now. Check local media. National Weather Station. Did you hear when that went off? That was pretty cool. You know what else you can use your ears for listening to? Audiobooks with Audible. Listening makes us smarter and more connected with people. It makes us better partners, parents, and leaders. And there's no better place to start listening than Audible. Audible is where so many inspiring voices and compelling stories are collected together to give listeners new experiences and ideas and ways of thinking. There's no better place to listen than Audible because now Audible members get even more. Audible has the largest selection of audiobooks on the planet, and now with Audible Originals, the selection has gotten even more custom with content made for members. It is raining, isn't it? I don't want to see this. I don't see a tornado, but I also don't see anything. We're gonna die. We're fine. Onward with the sponsorship. Oh, the wind changed. So there's like a tornado coming. I'm just gonna read the script. Here we go. Every month, Audible members get 1 credit good for any audiobook they choose, plus 2 Audible originals from a changing selection they can't get anywhere else. Besides all these benefits, your books are yours to keep. With Audible, you can go back and re-listen to them anytime, even if you cancel your membership. Didn't like your audiobook? Exchange it. No questions asked. Is that not good enough for you? Well, guess what? We're gonna sweeten the pot. We're gonna give you your first audiobook for free and 2 Audible originals when you try Audible for 30 days. Visit audible.com/junkyarddigs, all one word, no spaces, junkyarddigs, or text junkyarddigs, once again, all one word, no spaces, seen here on the screen, to 500-500. What do you think, Jesse? Is that a pretty original rainstorm right there?
Pretty original.
Pretty original, just like Audible Originals. Audible Originals are exclusive audio titles created by celebrated storytellers from worlds as diverse as theater, journalism, literature, and more. So, it's still pouring. There's no tornado. I'm kind of disappointed. Why are you degreasing the floor?
Have you seen this floor?
Have you been scrubbing this with a broom the whole time?
Yeah.
Not bad. You have to be the ugliest cat I've ever seen. Well, storm's done. It lasted an extent of time, longer than I was anticipating, so I just went to bed. But, oh, that worked really well. This sucker's clean. All the bird poop's consolidated to one pile. That's nice. It's nasty, but we're gonna go ahead and roll it in the shop and get started on this sucker this morning. First thing I want to do is, well, make sure it still runs, and then rip that carb off and get this sucker idling. And then we'll go through things like if I have time to put the key in and whatnot, and just make it a truck again. And then in the end, we'll do the brakes and get this sucker driving. I'm not sure how far we're getting this episode, but we'll get to it. Alright, before we even put a wrench to this thing, I picked up something this spring in a junkyard. Let's get that sucker on there to celebrate 8 whole episodes of F250 glory. Schmear. Yep, good enough. Nah, I'll put that on the rest of the way. But we have a door emblem. I realize now that I'm missing both of them. I thought I was only missing one. So at some point I'll have to get the other one, as well as, you know, all the glass. See what happens. Yeah, it still runs. Awesome. Alright, so before we go ahead and take this carb off and tear it apart, there's a couple things I want to try. Just see if we can get this thing running. I'm done cleaning it up. Played around with the fuel pump, made sure it's still working. It is. I drained all the old fuel, it wouldn't even burn. And we got some new fuel in there, so let's see if we can get this sucker to actually rev out and run. But I have noticed one thing. We have a PCV valve, and all the hoses are loose as hell, and I guarantee that PCV valve is shot. So I'm going to go ahead and try to find a way to just block that off entirely and see if that fixes a potential massive vacuum leak that could be causing us to not idle at all, because it's just, a vacuum like that big. So if I plug that off, there's a chance that this thing could idle. And if not, then we'll take the carb apart and blow out whatever the hell is in the idle circuit and get this thing actually running. Alright, I've got a huge chunk of pipe jammed into that port on the back of the carburetor base. Let's see if this thing runs any different. Well, it runs a lot better, but still wants choke to live. So, carburetor's coming off. You know what? It's been a while since we've had a good montage. What do you say we throw some good old music in here, and I go get the right size wrench, and then we take this carburetor off. Okay, now that you got that throttle blade out, your carburetor should be on fire. If you weren't angry enough at it for it to catch on fire, you're clearly a better man than I. So, we're going to go ahead and strip everything else off here to make sure this is really just a body. Then we're going to throw this thing in the carb bath along with a couple other parts that need cleaned up and let them sit for a number of hours. We'll be back. Okay, so interesting discovery here. Spraying some brake clean through the orifices in the carb base, and all the idle jets are clear in there up till this guy. And you'll notice this jet here is cracked. That thing is cracked all the way down the middle. This one's fine, but that's just a big old crack. So I think the majority of our problems lay in this whole piece right here. Alright, so our carb's soaking. Get all that cleaned up. I'm pretty sure most of our problems are with that cracked tube. But in the meantime, I have some other things I can do, such as this new key. I'll go ahead and drill the old one out. Wish me luck. Alright, so that bit made quick work of that soft metal. The whole center section's out. Yep, there it is. Our old key is out. There should be a chunk in the back I need to get yet. So I'm going to vacuum this out and then follow some instructions online for installing a new one. And we should have a key. It should go without saying, do this on your own vehicles. Don't steal shit. If you do, you're a terrible person. Moving on. Alright, well, that sucked eggs, but it's in there. It's not quite the factory specs. One of the dimensions somewhere is a little off, so it's a little hard to turn. But hey, that's cheap parts for you. For now, since for the first time in ever, we actually have power being distributed from the key, Let's hook the battery up and see what comes on when we turn the key. Did you crank? Nope. Why did that fire? There's no carburetor. Oh, Jesus Christ. The wipers work. Holy shit, that scared me. The fan works. I don't know if you can hear it, but something made a noise. Yeah, the fan's on. I can't seem to get it to turn off now. That should be off right there. Why is it still on? Maybe there's something in the fan box. Oh, Jesus, why? Why? Ah! Stop! Yeah, sure, right as I'm thinking, oh, maybe there's something alive in the fan box, the wipers flip on. I was really hoping this thing would turn on so we could listen to some Waylon Jennings. That's an ashtray. Ah, Jesus Christ! What is your deal? Why are you like this? Stop it. Okay, well, the middle's definitely not off. The far right's high. The middle is low. The left is just lower than low. How do I... What? Why is this happening? I don't want wipers. Make them go. This truck's haunted. Alright, so I've decided to have a couple options for this guy. I'm going to attempt to solder this crack up. I've never soldered like this before. I've only ever soldered wires. So this is a first for me. If this fails, we're going to head out to the lot out back and see if we can find a auto light on a car. Well, the results are in. It did seal back up. So, I only burnt myself really bad in the process. Did learn a little bit here for sure. I think I'm going to try to run this. Okay, so we got a new base gasket under this carb spacer. This is used for the PCV. As you can see, it pulls vacuum from under the carb base for the positive crankcase, but I have it plugged off because that's just a big old leak on this engine because that PCV is shot and I can't figure out how to get it out. It's something weird. So this does give us some thermal properties as well as reaching the right height for our studs. So I'm just going to go ahead and keep it as well, you know. What I don't like is that it puts a gap between the cylinders here. If I had some more studs, which I do, but if I cared enough, I would just get rid of this because that gap does things. We do have an actual dual plane 2-barrel intake, so if you listen to Motor Trend, they'll be like, oh yeah, you'll pick up 6 horsepower on the top end. Well, this is a 352 and a F250. We don't care about horsepower, we care about drivability. So I'm gonna go ahead and tighten this carb down and we'll prime it with fuel and we'll see if it finally idles with that crack fixed in that Venturi. That's the only thing I could find wrong with the entire carburetor. So if it's not that, then it's not carburation issues and there's something wrong with this motor. Oh, okay. That should be the wipers unplugged. Literally smells like I have diseases now. Let's see if this thing runs. Okay, here we go. First start and rebuild car. Things aren't looking great. There's a lot of stuff flying off this. noticed after we turn it off, I don't know if it's still doing it, but it's just dumping gas into the engine, which is why it's having such a hard time starting and just blowing black smoke, as it's totally flooded out. So we're gonna pop this cover off and adjust our flow level, check the needle and seat. Something's not sealing. We're getting way too much gas in the bowl. Oh, remember that retention spring I mentioned to slip down below the needle and seat? Guess who forgot to do that? If you guessed me, you're right. It was me. I forgot to. So we're gonna use this screwdriver and just click them down. That's what we want to see. That's way too much fuel. So what's happening is, since that float was able to raise so high, it was letting way too much fuel into the bowl, and the hydraulic pressure of the fuel being way up here was equalizing by dripping out of these venturis, thusly flooding the hell out of the motor. That should do it. We'll fire it one more time to clear that out and see if it floods this time when we turn it off. Key. Just crank it from there. So the flooding issue is fixed, but now it doesn't run at idle without choke. So we're back to square one. I could try to replace that Venturi assembly with the one that's out in the Galaxy, I guess. Let's do that. And then I give up. I feel heroic. There's like a sunset in cars. Welcome to the North 40. This is where I keep all the crap. There's the dumpster Firebird, as someone commented, which is like the best name ever. There's a bunch of engines. There's, from here I can see 2 Nailheads, 3 small block Fords, a 500 Caddy, a 400 Pontiac to go in that car. For all of you that are complaining about the small block Chevy but didn't watch the video and the parts I said I'm putting a Pontiac engine in it, there it is. There's some hoods, some bumpers, some grills, parts left and right. There's a whole other truck in there just full of parts. But over here, temporary storage while we make a little junkyard area over there. This is Thunderhead 289 spare parts Galaxy. And over here, seen for the first time on camera, is the 69 Galaxy fastback air-conditioned 390 car with the GT steering wheel. I saved this from a scrapper. The guy was selling a property, and this was actually his first car. It's the only reason it didn't get scrapped years ago. He's not a car guy, but he just held on to it. And he was selling a property, and if it wasn't gone in like 2 days, it was getting scrapped. And I was the only one that would get there in time and do anything. So I went over and rescued the car, and it's got a 390, automatic transmission, some goods here and there, air conditioning, GT steering wheel. It's honestly not terrible. The frame's rotted out, but every Galaxy frame's rotted out because back when they raced the NASCAR, to be competitive, they had to be lightweight, so they took the extra weight out of the frame, which means you had cardboard for a frame in a Galaxy. That one's the same. There's no frame left at all. But most importantly, this guy right here, an Autolite 2100 that should have a good Venturi assembly. You'll also notice that to my right is the Le Mans, codenamed Smokey. It's been sitting out here waiting to get worked on as well. This is kind of where projects come to sit. You'll see all of these cars on future episodes. I hope to get this Galaxy running. Right now it's seized. But if you guys want to see that, comment below. Let me know if you would like to see this pretty sweet looking car come to life. I'll have my cameraman roll around to the back and get some shots from back there. Oh, and then of course to my left is the 1976 Oldsmobile Hearst W25, which is actually my dad's car. That is for sale. if you guys would like to buy that car, shoot me an email, junkyarddigs1@gmail.com. We'll talk about some pricing and stuff. But for now, let's pop this cover off. That's what we need right there. Let's see if these ones are cracked as well. Apparently I need some 2100 carburetor parts just laying around. Never thought I'd say those words. Apparently I need a bunch of 2 barrels. Like what? Cover everything with this massive air cleaner. Look at this size of this thing. See you around, my friend. Alright, back to the shop. So something interesting, when I sprayed brake fluid down these center rods here, it came out the Venturis, which I thought was odd because I would expect the large one to be the Venturi, but the large one came out of the idle jet. This one is the way it makes sense. The small one's the idle and the big one's the Venturi. So, is there something wrong with this? I don't know. Let's throw it in there and find out. Wasn't sure if I had enough footage to do this video, but now I know I'm going to. Sorry you've been bored for the last 10 minutes watching me remove and reinstall the top of this carburetor with a little bit of twinge of excitement every time of, will it work this time? With a consistent answer of, no, it won't. Maybe this is the one.
Key is on.
Alright. That was a very big fire over here. They're like 4-foot flames, so you guys couldn't see them, but it was aggressive. Come around this side. Yeah. Before we start, I would like to remind you that we have yet to complete a lap around the inside of our property here. Last time a whole axle fell out, so this will be the first lap around the old test track. If we, make it. We might die. What am I doing? I definitely have like malaria now. There's so much stuff in my eyes. Should we drive it down the corner?
I suppose.
Hop on in. Now, remember, we have no form of brakes, but we do have an off key now. So, take solitude in that. starting. What do you know? Yeah. Oh, we're gonna make it, Jesse. This might be the end. What better way to end this than a good drive into the sunset? I'll see you guys next time on Junkyard Digs. Make sure you like, subscribe, check out everything I mentioned in the video. Follow the gang, Classic Mustang 429, Thunderhead 289, and Dylan McCool. Peace. When the F250 left you behind, you ran. Get in. Oh, make sure you guys keep an eye out for this car and power tour. We'll see you there in like 6 days. Long haul, baby. Peace.